Now our next step in this process of creating our website won't be, this isn't a big one, but it's going to help us get organized and keep things on track. And again, I've kind of got this diagrammed out here in Photoshop. Remember that what we want to do is set up a little microsite. Microsite just means a small website, and it's going to be set up like this. We'll have a main page or an index page. It's right here, and it's going to be connected to 5 other pages. And hopefully by now you have made your decisions about the 5 things, 5 things that you made in this class that you want to put on these other pages, and then we're going to connect all those pages together. And really the big thing for me is showing you how to build these pages and how to get them connected so that they work. If we have a chance to put them up live, we will, so that they can be seen on the internet, but sometimes we don't get that done. Just depends on time. All right, so this is kind of what we're working on here. 6 different pages, an index page, and then 5 more that have these things on them. You can see what I picked out here: my poster, my solar system, my Magellan movie, my little event movie where my gymnast does the flip on the balance beam, and then I'm also going to do my podcast. All right, so I've got a plan. The plan is done. Now the next step, like I said, is not going to be all that big. We're going to use a program called Dreamweaver to help us put together some empty pages that are going to be all ready for all those things that I just showed you in Photoshop in this little diagram right over here that I made. Okay. Now Dreamweaver is located, if you go to your Start button and go to All Programs, it's going to be in that Adobe Web and Design Premium, and it's going to be in CS6. I believe you also probably have CS5 on your computer. Make sure you use CS6. And Dreamweaver looks like this. It says DW. It's got a little green icon, and you can certainly, if you wish, you can do a right click, send to desktop, and you can make a shortcut for Dreamweaver if you want. There'll be, we're not going to use it a ton, but you'll use it a little bit, and if you want to make a shortcut, you can do that. I've got a shortcut for it right inside this folder here, and here's Adobe Dreamweaver. So I'm going to go ahead and fire this up. And mine's going to look a little bit different than yours because I use Dreamweaver for some other things, and so some of Dreamweaver I already have set up here, and yeah, that's okay. I'll just cancel that. Actually, that might help us a little bit. All right, so here we go. This is kind of what Dreamweaver looks like when you first start it. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is what's called defining a site. Okay. We're going to make a new Dreamweaver site. And if you look here under the Create New heading in the middle column of this dialog box and come down far enough here, there's a button that says we're going to create a new Dreamweaver site. I'll click that. Now there isn't that much stuff that we need to say here. I mean, there's lots of options if you look over here at site, servers, version control, yada yada yada, but there's not that much stuff that we need to do. What we need to do is give it a name. Okay, and this could be, really, it could be whatever you want. It just could be my website. Or you could put your name in there if you want to. It doesn't really matter what you call it. You just give it a name. Okay. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is right here on this local site folder. You can click this little folder at the end of that, and you need to go to your network drive. Now, this is important. You're going to click on computer, and again, I'm doing this in a place, I'm not at school right now, I'm doing this in a place where I'm not connected to my drive H. So you would need to go over here to computer and make sure that you double click on drive H. I'm just going to double click here on drive E. Alright, and then I'll go ahead and select that. But here where it says local site folder, yours is going to say H:. I want you to do this. I want you to put the word web right there, just W-E-B. All right. So you'll select drive H, and then right here where it says local site folder, yours will say H:/web. Perfect. And that's all we got to do. Just give it a name, and yours is going to say H: instead of E:, and then you just save that. All right. Now, not much has changed here, but if you'll look over in the bottom right hand side, you'll see that there is a little, it says my website right here. And that means, you know, the things that we make and the things that we do now are going to be added to that website, to my website. That's good. That's what we want. All right, so the only other thing we're going to do for right now in Dreamweaver is we're going to make some empty pages. And I know that that might sound kind of crazy, and you might think, well, you know, empty pages, why do that? But it's going to help us keep organized. And I'm going to keep this in front of you a little bit here, just to keep your brain thinking. This is just a diagram. This is just a little picture that I drew up, but these are the pages that I'm going to make. I want an index page. I want one for my poster. I want one for my solar system. I want one for my Magellan movie. I want one for my event movie, and I want one for my podcast. Now, your 5 items might be different than the ones that I have down here, but you're going to need pages for all of those things. All right, so back to Dreamweaver, and here's what we'll do. In this middle box right here, where it says, or the middle column, where it says Create New, I'm just going to use this very first button. When you want to make a new page, you can just say Create New HTML. Now, yours might possibly come up looking kind of funky like this, with a bunch of gibberish over here on the websites are made of code. And a lot of you know that, and some of you might not know that there's this HTML code and CSS code that really makes a website work. And so when you first start Dreamweaver, it might come up looking like this, or it might even come up looking like this. And that's we don't. If you know how to code, great, good. You could use some code, but that's not really what I want to do on this. What I want to do is I want to go over here to this button. It's there across the top. It says Code Split Design. That's what I would like. When you click on Design right here, that's just an empty page. The code is really still there. It's just we don't see it anymore. We don't have to worry about it. We're not confused by the code anymore. All right, so I'm going to click on that Design button. It's just an empty white web page is all it is. Now, I'm not going to do very much to this right now. All right. In fact, I might just come here where it says Title, and I'm going to take out where it says Untitled Document, and I'm going to say Index, and just press Enter. And now I'm going to save this page. I'm going to do File. I'm going to do Save As, and I want to make sure, and it should do this because we defined the site. But look right up here where it says Save In. It's saving in that web folder. That's good. That's perfect. All right. And this is just going to be called Index, I-N-D-E-X. All right, there, one page done. Now, if you'll look over here on the bottom right, look what just happened over here, where it says Local Files. That should be showing up over here on the bottom right. Cool. It's on the Files tab right here, and it says Index. It shows that I just made that page. Wonderful. Well, I'm going to keep doing that a little bit here. I'm going to go to File and go to New. And I'm just going to make this HTML page, and don't worry about a layout for right now. We'll just do HTML, none, and come down here and say Create. Now I have another new page. All right. Now the index page didn't disappear. I'll show you what happened here in just a second. But again, remember, I'm going to flip back over here. What I'm doing now is making these pages down here. All right. So I need one that's going to eventually be for my digital poster. All right, well, so for the title of it, just to keep things organized here, I think I'll just call that poster, or I could call it poster page, or I could even call it, if I wanted to, I could say Iron Man, oops, I didn't spell it right, Iron Man poster, because I know that's what I'm going to put on there. And then I'm just going to save this page. I'll do File, I'll do Save As, and you want to keep these names just kind of short and sweet and just not complicated. I'll just call it Poster because that's what I'm going to put on there. I could call it Poster Page if I wanted to, but I'm just going to call it Poster. All right. Again, if you'll look over here in the bottom right-hand side, you'll see, oh, look, it shows up. There's my site, my website, and now my site has 2 pages on it, an index page and a poster page. All right, well, now I just kind of keep going. The solar system's next, and you'll see up here on the top left, there's tabs up here. Here's my index page, here's my poster page. Now they're empty, they're totally empty right now. There's nothing on them, but that's okay. I just want to make these pages and kind of have them ready. So I'll do File and New, and it's going to be an HTML, no layout, create. Okay, good. This one's going to be for my solar system. So up here on the title slot, I'll put solar system diagram. You just kind of put a little descriptive phrase up there. And I'll save this. File, save as. And again, keep these names kind of nice and short and sweet. And they need to be in that web folder. All right, they all need to be in that web folder. Got to pay attention to that. They all need to be in that web folder. All right, we're going to save that. And again, if you look on the bottom right-hand side here, now you see the pages kind of piling up. Index, poster, solar. Hey, we're doing good. All right, so I'm going to keep going. File and new. And this is going to be the same thing. HTML, none, create. All right, and this one's going to be for my, I don't want to put it there. I want to put this title up here. This one's going to be for my Magellan movie that I made in Flash. All right, so Magellan movie, file, save as, and I'll just call it Magellan. All right, let's keep going. File, new, and create. And this one's going to be for my little event movie. This is the one where I made it the gymnast that does the flip on the balance beam and all that. So I'll do file and save as, event. I might even add movie, and notice I did that in all one word, event movie, no spaces. All right, and it shows up over here on my site, and I've got one more to go. File and new and create. And this one is going to be, I'm going to stick my podcast on here. All right, so we'll go file, save as. And this one will just be called podcast. Got it. So again, I'm using my plan that I figured out in my first session here. You know, that's my little diagram that I made. I'm using my plan to help me know what to call these pages and what they're going to be like. And I'm using Dreamweaver just to make some empty pages. I made a new site. Remember, you define a new site first. And then these pages are all going to be part of my site. Yay. Okay, we're doing good. Well, now that's the end of this step. All right, so I'm going to stop here, and then in the next session, we'll move ahead to what comes next.